the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up.
This is Bombastik Broadcasting with Kat, Kim, and Sue. As you know, here at Bombastik Broadcasting, we are dedicated to highlighting the people who are stoking the fire in their soul and living their purpose in life. And today it is my pleasure to introduce our guest, Eileen Head.
We're very excited to have you here all the way from Canada. And we were also excited to hear all about Enneagrams.
The Enneagram is part of my Live Your Best Life, Manifest Your Dreams. I was in a 35-year marriage. I met my husband at 16, married at 18. Thought we'd be married forever. We had the same values, same morals, same goals. And yet we just were not able to connect on an emotional level. And that became very, very difficult for me. It was sort of like playing a piano with one note. You know, it was a great man, worked very hard, but this wasn't enough for me. And I started to feel like I was getting ill. My medical reports were starting to come back. And then my spirituality opened up and I started getting a tap on the shoulder with different experiences that said, you better start looking after yourself. And so I left that marriage. And as I was leaving the marriage, found the Enneagram personalities. And I will tell you that when I read my biography, it was like when I read my profile, it was like reading my biography. How could something know me so, like, it was freaky how accurate it was. And it told me what people valued in me. See, most of us don't know that. And what my great traits were. And then it showed me some of these other things that stung a bit when I looked at them. That's where our growth comes from, right?
Right.
I am so intrigued. So is there, for those of us who are not very familiar with the Enneagrams, is it a book of them? Is it like, it sounds like an oracle of sorts, you know? Can you tell us what this is, where it comes from?
Yeah, the Enneagram's been around since the 1700s. It's a very well-respected model. It's a more advanced personality model than most of them that are out there. It shows you how your personality was formed as a child by the age of 7 to get your needs met. So you formed a belief that I need to be a certain way and play a certain role in order to get the most love and attention. Those become patterns. Patterns become personality, becomes an identity. But the wonderful thing about it is that we can break out of that box of the patterns that we have created. We can look at the patterns that are sabotaging us. It tells us how we think, feel, act, react, how we feel emotionally loved, what kind of partner we are, what careers we're going to, like, there is scientific data from the I was trained by Dr. David Daniels, who was the director of psychiatry at Stanford University. He made it his life's work and was attempting to get it into the medical program because there's research even on the illnesses that each personality gets and why.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea that was a thing. I just had a huge epiphany recently at a class on Enneagrams when I figured mine out. I was absolutely blown away, floored, like completely life-changing.
Yes. It is. It's life-changing. If you're ready for growth, you know, you can spend a lifetime trying to figure out who am I? And that's really, really confusing because you are different things to different people. Different people perceive you differently. You react differently to different people until you really understand the foundation of who you are. When I left that 35-year marriage, I was voted off the island of my friends. They all very aggressively walked away from me. And the reason for that is we have friends who have the same values and morals. And when I stood up and said, I'm not happy, I'm out of integrity staying in this relationship with him and myself, that didn't sit right because their belief was, well, you stay no matter what. You're married.
Oh, okay.
And so when I left, it was, there were women. One got a new BMW, one got diamond earrings, another one got an engagement ring, even though they'd been married 15 years. The guys went nuts. There was a lot of fear.
Wow. You hooked the chicks up, huh? You hooked those ladies up.
Mix things up. I've been known to do that now and again.
Well,
That's hilarious.
you breaking that mold too, Eileen. That's amazing.
But, you know, it's a time I have never felt more powerful. because I'd learned my Enneagram and I knew theirs as well and why they were reacting to me the way they were from their own beliefs. I use this as the basis of all my coaching to help people become more conscious, to lead a juicier life, to really, nothing's more interesting than ourselves and watching ourselves, right? Even when we're triggered. Kim, it's Kim, right? In the green?
I'm Kim, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Wouldn't you agree with that when you learned your Enneagram?
Absolutely. And then after you read them, you I immediately knew which one my sister was, who's Sue,
Yep.
in case you hadn't guessed. And, I immediately knew which ones my kids were. It was crazy. And even Kat a little bit. But then I think that the people sort of see more, maybe they see a little bit of a different one as well. But, it's very blatant. Very blatant.
Yeah. And, there's research on how to parent each of the 9 personality children, what the partner styles are of each of the 9 personalities, how each feels loved. The information is mind-boggling on what you can do with this and how you can use it to really, there's 9 levels of behavior within each personality type. So you go from unhealthy behavior to more conscious behavior. And that is like when you can see how you can be more conscious, a better person, your best life, it's an amazing tool.
As you're talking about this, the thing that just keeps hitting me in the face is how wonderful it would be to not have that distraction. When you're younger, I think you're very distracted by, who am I? Where is my place in the world? Everything is new. But then as you get older, you kind of go in and out of that still. Who am I now? What's happening? And if you could cut that distraction out of the way and have a little bit of a manual or a guide direction of, this is who I am, and this is how I function. Imagine what you could do not being distracted by all that.
I call it an operations manual for life.
Operation, yeah.
Yeah.
I really do. An operations manual for love. And as I mentioned, I'm also a Live Your Best Life Law of Attraction coach, and I teach you from your personality. When you're manifesting, you need to manifest from your own personality, what it is your needs are, what you're yearning for. I've manifested so many things. It's just so much fun.
What's the best thing you've manifested?
Well, let me tell you.
Ooh, this
sounds
Well,
juicy.
there were a couple of those too that I can tell you. One of the major ones in the beginning was I was going to sell my house, and it was an older house, and realtors would knock on my door and they wanted me to sell it for the land, and they'd tell me how much I could get for it. And I said, well, I won't sell it for that. And so when I came to selling it, a friend who was a realtor said, I'll sell it for $1,000 fee. What do you want to list it for? And I told him the amount, and he said, you will never get that. Never, ever. But I'll list it. I got it for $45,000 over what anyone told me I would ever get in 3 weeks. And then when we were looking for the place that I'm in, I could show you my vision board of the house I had on my vision board to the house I live in now, to the tree outside. End unit, adult community, walkout basement. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Fantastic. Powerful.
Then it was fall about 3 years ago, and a lot of my married friends were going south for the winter. And I thought, I'm single and I don't have a lot of money, but I'd really like to go to a beach somewhere. And a friend of a friend called me up and he said, hey, I hear you want to go to a beach. And I said, I do. He said, well, I have a condo on the beach in Puerto Morelos, Mexico. I will rent it to you for $100 Canadian per person per week for 2 weeks in November.
Per week. Wow.
Now that is manifesting.
That's
That is specific manifesting. And then I had another friend who said, well, I'm going to Mazatlan. Why don't you come and stay with me for 2 weeks? And so I went down and stayed with her, and I loved the community. And I said, I'm going to come back in January. And they said, you'll never get a place in here. It's always booked. And I looked around, and within myself, I just felt, no, you know what? I'm going to be coming back here. And I got January, February, and March. Then I booked the next year and the next year. And this is my 4th year for going back 6 months.
Oh, that's
fantastic.
And then I manifested the perfect renters for the times I'm away.
Oh.
And I'm in the process of doing that right now for this year as well.
Synchronicity at its best.
You bring new light to be careful what you wish for.
Oh,
right?
I am very conscious. Believe me,
Yeah.
I am very conscious. And because when you get to that certain vibration, That's exactly true, Kath, because when you get to that certain vibration, you must manage your thoughts very, very carefully because the universe has no discernment, right? It is like, oh, you said that. Is that what you want? Okay, here you go.
Oh my God. Quickly too, from what you exampled.
Yeah.
It can be very quick. Yeah.
Wow.
Gives me chills.
And Eileen, how did you get into actual coaching?
It was the Enneagram.
Okay.
I immediately, as I left that relationship, I immediately started my training and became certified in the Enneagram and have been so passionate about it. In a meditation, I actually saw that I would bring healing using the Enneagram.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Yeah. So it's been my life work since then. It's the fastest way to really become conscious in your life, right, Kim?
Dig in there. Yeah, no, I definitely, absolutely blew my socks off. Then Eileen, sorry. So after the person figures out what Enneagram they are, I understand that you just kind of coach them how to walk forward in life. Is there part of the process where you're like, this is a choice, right?
Absolutely.
But it's a decision you made when you were really young.
Yeah. So, people will only find you if they resonate with you. And
Yes.
so those that are ready for more in their life, ready to grow, they will come to you. And if not, they will not. And on my website, Eileen Head, I have a free Enneagram test. And then I do a follow-up call to make sure you've typed yourself correctly, because we have the traits of all the 9 personalities in us. It's just our focus of attention with one of them. And so if you are typed correctly, it is freakishly accurate. And then going forward for people who really want, a higher conscious life, a juicier life, a happier life. I am just putting out a program. I don't know when this is airing, but it's starting in September, and it's called Create Your Dream Vision. And on that, we're going to do your manifesting statements of high vibration. We're going to craft very descriptive words. We're going to do a vision board, and that's going to be from your personality type. And so I invite people, I've got a smoking hot deal now, but I'm going to be offering this ongoing because, so many people that I meet feel stuck and trapped and powerless to change their life situation, when really it's a conscious decision to look for ways to grow and to shift patterns and mindset and consciousness and use the energy of the universe.
Well, I think 3 of us just signed up. Yeah, all y'all out there.
We're having a very good time.
We're gonna have such a good time. And when you say that, I get very excited when people have programs, because I myself am one who I'm interested in so many things, but I need my hand held for the first couple steps. So Absolutely. I really know that I can invest myself in it and that I'm doing it right, because I don't want to waste time. So by you having that free Enneagram on your www.eileenhead.com, y'all go take that, because that's step number 1. I was going to ask if you could give us an example of one, but I guess that's how you do it, by going onto the site and doing it yourself, getting involved in it. And how fun to have that whole, it's work, but it's so much fun work.
Yes,
that it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. When I learned my personality, I'm a 2 supporter helper. That's why I'm coaching, right? And, helping was my value in the world. And I didn't even realize that. And, I was an intrusive helper at times. And I'd be shocked when people would say, no, thank you. Like, who doesn't want my help? I've got great help here. I'll give you great advice. And it was shocking. And then I realized that was I giving to get? Was it a need of mine? Yes, I do want to help people, but there was an underlying need. And I read a quote one time that shocked me, and it said, "You give so much that it gives me no other opportunity but to take." And I don't like being a taker.
Gosh, that is so powerful, because then you become a victim instead of a giver. There's such a balance in that. Yes. Oh my goodness.
And if you're such a giver, it's difficult to be a receiver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
It really is. Yeah.
There's so many insights. And when you really delve into your relationship, like for my personality, rejection is a huge theme. Guess what? My whole social community turfed me when I left that marriage. However, I recognized all of that and the life lessons around that. So I really worked on the life lessons of rejection, and everybody's an actor on your stage, and what life lesson is there in this for me? Instead of personalize the victimization of that, it was like, what do I need to learn from this and grow?
So you're able to see it in a more objective light rather than
That's
take
right.
it personally.
Yeah. It's a choice to personalize it or not, right? Always.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Always.
I don't want to hog the question arena, but I'm going to for a minute. When you said that because I remember doing it with Kim. Kim came back from her retreat. She was on fire, which I love when Kim is on fire. My favorite. I'm like, give me fire. But she started to help me do mine, and I guess I'm in a lot of transitions in life. I'm a mover, right? And I couldn't decide between the 9. So you were saying that each of us have pieces of all 9?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
common?
And so, yeah, we all do. We all identify with all the 9 types. The perfecter, the supporter, helper, the achiever, the expressioner, the emotional type, the intellectual contemplator, the questioner, the optimister, the asserter, and the peace seeker. We have all those parts in us. But it's confusing because when we're stressed, we take on the traits of our stress pattern. When we're in our path of development, which is what is so fascinating about the Enneagram, it shows you what your path of development is. So we identify with a lot of those traits. And that's why I do a call with people. And on the test, the 9-paragraph test, like it takes 10 minutes maximum. Pick out your top 3. And I'll go through them with you, and I will help you determine what your personality type is. So then going forward, all the research that you read, all the information you read is going to be relevant. Remembering that you can't be unhealthy and healthy at the same time. So if you've already done a lot of growth, you may not identify with some of the lower energies of the personality type. But once you learn the model, it just becomes so fascinating to be in a room with other people and, they're acting this way. I wonder if they're this personality. And you can be compassionate, right? This is a pattern they have that they may not realize that is sabotaging them. I can now react differently to them. Instead of being offended or whatever, I can understand they're in a pattern. This is a pattern. We can celebrate the personalities of other people and what they bring to us and how they enrich our life.
What you're saying just sounds great, like you said, for parenting, for marriages, for best friendships, the whole gamut.
Co-workers. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
And if you're single, I believe it's even more important to know what your partner currency is. What is it do you bring to a relationship? What value do you bring in a relationship so that you can share that with someone? What I've come to realize is that I'm a really good listener. I love peace. I also have difficulty with conflict. That's the peace seeker, right? So I'm working on that to be more outspoken with that, or when I get upset to speak up, or if I'm asserter, becoming conscious that I might not be enrolling people, I might be steamrolling people. And if you're a woman who's an asserter, how that is a challenge to find a partner, because strong women are not always seen as attractive tall men, right? And the Enneagram has studies where they will put you together and show you the personalities that you resonate more with. Also for couples, I do couples readings as well. It puts 2 of you together, your 2 personalities, and it will show you your similarities, your differences, your trigger points, and then how you can help your partner grow with their growth, to understand them. You can say, I'm working on this pattern of being overly helpful. When you feel controlled or when you feel overwhelmed, maybe just put your hand up and give me a little wave, and I'll go, oh, right, I'm doing it again, right? Okay, thank you. I love you.
I like that.
That's
Right?
awesome.
That's great.
That really is awesome. I love the term relationship currency that you used.
That is cool.
Your personality currency, right? It's
Personality currency.
and you need to know that if you're married as well. Like I coach couples too. They've come to me and said, you know what, we've been to therapists. You're our last hope. If you can't help us, we're done. And most of the challenges in couple relationships is personality differences that they do not know what to do with.
That totally makes sense. So when people sign up for your classes, do they do the Enneagram test first?
Generally.
Okay. So your classes are online?
Yes, it will be online. I will send you the link. If you go to my website, Eileen Head, you will see it's Manifest Your Dreams or Your Dream Vision. And I help you create your vision board as well, or at least start it. And a big part of it is just becoming clear. Like a lot of people do not spend time on a daily or weekly basis of what do I want? So many people are afraid to dream. What if it doesn't come true? I've been hurt enough. I don't want any more disappointment. So they stay in that negative thought pattern without realizing. I never realized I could have the life that I have now. Never realized it.
That's amazing.
That really is. Another passion project I have, Eileen, that you're making me think of is smarter budgeting. And part of the coaching element that I would bring in is really asking people, what do you want? And it always surprised me at how challenging of a question that would be for the reasons you just said. Really fantastic.
If you learned, like there's research on how each personality looks at money. I meant the one perfecter is going to have rules and you better follow the rules. The 2 is looking more for the experience than the actual finances. The 3 achiever is its goals, its finance, its bottom line. The 4 expresser is going to be more emotionally involved in the experiences. The 5 contemplator is going to be a thought person, right? They're going to want to figure it all out. The 6 questioner personality may have a lot of fear around it, not having enough money. The 7 personality focuses on fun. Live for today. We'll figure out, out in the end. The 8 asserter wants to take charge of everything and they want their partner to fall in line with them. And the 9 peace seeker, they just want a peaceful life. They may not even be planning. So in that career for you, there's a lot of information when you bring couples together and you can sort of, when you get some training in this, the 2s and the 9s look a lot alike. You don't need to know the differences. You just need to know some of the patterns, right? And so you can pick up on the patterns and figure out what's going on with each couple and then help them to understand the underlying fears or anxieties or the needs of each of the personality and people.
This is so enlightening. I have to ask too, Eileen, do you ever coach businesses and startups, like people that work well together? Like us. Because I'm sure as you're saying that, there's sections of people that fall in line nicely together. If there's a go-getter and a peacemaker on the same team, they probably balance, right?
A fun thing I have done for businesses, and I can do it online, is if it's in person, what I do is I read out a certain personality type and I tell them to go stand in that space. You 1s, you go over there. And then I read the next one, you 2s, go over there. And, they're listening and they're going, well, I was a 1. I don't think I'm a 1. I'm going over here. And there's a lot of laughter and they're moving around, the numbers. And it's like, oh, now I know why you're like that. Or now I know this and now I know that. There's a lot of fun to it. I can do that online for sure.
That's so neat.
That is very clever.
We're working on a Tahoe retreat, though. I think Eileen's invited. Don't you think?
I think so. Yes.
I'll be there.
Eileen, you also studied under Jack Canfield, right?
Yes.
Chicken Soup for the Soul. Was that online?
Years ago, probably 2001, I went down and took his self-esteem facilitation course, which was a 7-day, very intensive development program. Okay. And it was very, very delve deep in, right? And that was very enlightening as well. That was before I knew personalities too.
Okay.
Jack Canfield seems like a really cool guy. What was your favorite takeaway from his class, if you can remember?
He was very grounded. He was very compassionate. His focus was on helping people too, and self-esteem for sure. Had I known personalities then, it would have been even more fascinating for me. But
yes,
even the traumas and the dramas in our life are personality based, and how we deal with them or don't. I want people to know that the stories they're telling of their past life keeps them stuck in the victim.
Yes.
As you begin to grow and release your story and embrace the it's a different perspective when something's happening to you and you go, what's going on? What's the life lesson? What am I not getting? What do I need to learn here? And then it's like, oh, it hits you and you get it. And it may come back a number of times because you may not be through the lesson. See, that's the other part that I teach is the spirituality. There are no accidents. Everything happens for a reason.
Okay.
Life lessons, working with guides and angels. That's the other part of what I do.
Ooh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to ask too, when you say the patterns, and is it easier? I love a good dot connection session. Nothing makes you feel more excited than when you can connect the dots. Does that help people who maybe because I've been told letting go is hard. And I know in my own life through different things, because people are like, well, just let that go. Let that, let that shit go. And you're like, I wish, sure, I'll let it go. Where is it that I could hold on to it to let it go? But it sounds like the work that you do would also allow people to learn how to let go and free themselves from some of that.
Heal. Yeah. I'm also a hypnotherapist. So, I can help people go into a session and go a little deeper, go back into, one of the things I did for myself was I went and did some inner child work with myself. And as a two personality, our energy is always out there for everyone else. And when I went into the deep connection with my inner child, what she said to me is, you are always focusing on everyone else, and I'm here all alone, and no one is looking after me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Said I will never do that again. So when I help now, I help in a very different way than I used to be. When I used to help, I was attached to the outcome. I need you to take this information and react in a different way or a certain way. Now what I do is I'll say, are you open to some feedback? I have some insights if you're open to them. Here's what I'm seeing. And I give them the insights and then I let go of outcome. Maybe I'm planting a seed. Maybe they're not going to pick it up ever. Maybe it's going to be 3-5 years before they go, oh, that's what that was. But I do it in a very different way. I ask permission and then I just let it go. So that is better for me and it's better for the person. There isn't any energy attached to the giving and helping on their end. It's cleaner that way, right?
Right. That is pretty awesome. Eileen, can you tell us about your books? You've written some books?
I was just looking on Amazon. I got to take it off there. I wrote this book when I left my marriage and it doesn't it was called Why Can't I Figure Myself Out?
I like that title.
And it was all about the Enneagram and what we discovered. I gave my ex-husband an opportunity to have a chapter in that book. And what he said to me was, well, if I was writing this book, it would be a very different book. I said, of course it would be. It would be from your perspective, right?
Right.
But it was about using the Enneagram and figuring out why it was that we were unable to connect at that point. So I need to get that down. I've been co-author in, just looking at the titles, When Women Talk and Frock Off, and there's a number of them that I've been in different anthropologies.
That's great. Very cool.
I have to pause for a minute. If you see us distracted over here,
Just
we
a
have one
smidge.
earbud that isn't working. So Kim can't hear anything. And I was trying to share with her, but we can't. I love that you use the word fun too, like that manifesting is fun. Because I know even when you're in the flow, when things are happening, and all I can do is be grateful. But with your power and your coaching, besides being grateful for it, you could also follow it to the thing that it's really trying to lead you to.
Yep.
Instead of, because sometimes you just don't know exactly the direction, but if you have the vision board, you have like the game plan, the visualization, it's probably almost better than a business plan in some ways.
Yeah, it isn't about being absolutely finite. It is about looking for the experiences that you're looking for. What can I give you an example? Okay, I'll give you an example. So I'm single. And I'm out dancing. I'm a country dancer, 23 spins in a row down the floor. I have a lot of fun dancing. And this man appeared at this bar, and I saw him standing alone, so I started talking to him. And we met up, and he was 16 years younger than me. And I said to him, this just came to me. I just heard it, and so I said to him, you're going to be a gift to me, and I'm going to be a gift to you. And I don't know how long this will last, but this was meant to be. And I was on my way to Mexico in the next month. So that relationship lasted a month, but there were such gifts for me in this. He showed me age does not matter. And he showed me validation and passion and all those other things that I was questioning at the time.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
You know,
Fantastic.
when you open to the universe to allow them to bring you what it is you need to learn, and that's something you can use as a mantra, angels and guides or whatever you believe in, bring me today what it is that I'm most meant to learn or experience, as well as putting out, you can ask them to bring to you.
So nice.
Yeah, we don't think of that part of it.
Oh,
Right.
I really do like your example for a lot of different reasons. Because sometimes you wonder, you're like, should I go down this road? Should I not go down this road? And everything's
You
a
know, I would have
choice.
stopped myself before. I would have said, well, you're 16 years younger. You're still working. I'm going away for 6 months. I'm looking for a life partner. And I would have said no.
And you
I
could
would
have
have missed.
the joy.
I
You
would've-
would have just canceled out a whole bundle of joy.
Yeah. And so many positive. My heart, I didn't realize had been quite closed before. And that was, I pushed many men away and it's like, nope, 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 nope. And this opened my heart to show me that I could love again, that what loving felt, not only to be loving, but to receive that confirmation that he was giving to me. It was a beautiful experience. Was he a life partner? No, but was he a life-changing partner? Yes.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Who doesn't want to be that? That's good.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
How do you
And
talk
so-
yourself out of fear? Go ahead.
No, Kat, go.
I was going to say, I think a lot of times when people are presented with such options, whether it's in the romance department or another, and almost like we were saying, people can often be unconsciously afraid to dream or dream big because of that fear factor. And I know a lot of relationships, matters of the heart, when people, especially women, I think I can say that, reach a certain age, we've been burned enough to say like, no, 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 and to embrace that yes a little bit more while still protecting your heart. Do you have anything to speak of on that? Like when you taste really good chocolate and then you're like, oh, I can't have chocolate anymore? Or that,
Yeah.
sorry,
And
is that a lot?
No,
Edit that.
no.
No chocolate?
So that's framing it in the way that I had the chocolate and now I don't have the chocolate. Am I ever going to have the chocolate again? Right?
Right.
But that experience, because I said yes to it, and I've agreed that if things are brought to me, I will say yes. And I trust myself enough to handle myself now in situations. Maybe I'll go into it once or twice and then say, I'm sorry, I don't think you're a fit for me. And I've got 2 men phoning me right now and they're not a fit for me. I'm sorry. But I trust myself to know that and to go with my feelings. And here's the thing I've learned about men. They are very sensitive. They are very confused. They do not know what we want. We are not clear on what we want. We have a whole trainload of stuff of expectations that they need to measure up for the guys in the past who have not measured up. So,
Wow.
I really enjoy coaching men as well. A lot of them will say, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
How sweet.
That is so sweet.
Tell me how
That's
to
really
fix
sweet.
this and I'll do it. A lot of women will say, well, I know it all. It's them that's the problem. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And
right.
that's what I see in a lot of women in their 50s and onward. It's like, is this all there is? I've done it all. I've raised the kids. I've done blah, blah, blah. I'm not happy. I see their husbands walking on eggshells. They know their wife's unhappy. They don't know what to do with it. And it's about starting to work on yourself. And you can shift a relationship, even relationships that are totally disconnected. When you start working on yourself, I teach scripting to re-engage them so that, it's like, I'm learning things about myself that I never knew. And I never saw this pattern that I have. And I'm sure you've seen it. This is what I'm working on. Or you can say, I'm wondering what personality you are. Tell me if this is true about you, because I think you're really great at this. And I'm learning this about that personality. Teaching to re-engage and to reconnect. And I'm just really passionate about all of that.
Well, the sad part too, a lot of those marriages where they've been married forever and they're unhappy, a lot of it is that the people don't know how to communicate what they're looking for. And most of it is because they don't actually know what they're looking for.
Exactly. And again, you go back to the personality. I
Right.
had a gal come to me in the should I stay or should I go coaching. She wanted to be coached to go. And I said, well, before you go, let's figure some of this out. Let's start working on you and see what happens. And then her husband said, well, I want a session. I want to tell you my perspective of this. So he came
Fair.
in and he told me his. And what the situation was, he's a strong personality. He thought she was overdoing her helping and giving. So he was attempting to tell her how to do it. She thought he was controlling and overbearing. Do you see how it gets to be all a ball of yarn? And when I
Yes.
said to her, he really thinks he's being loving. And then I taught him how to ask for permission, how to let her be on her own, to allow her to do these things. Worked with their two personalities and off they went.
That's beautiful.
They'll
That's so
come back
sweet.
now and again with, okay, this is the situation. We got this going on. What do we do with this now? and then I work them through it and they go, oh, okay. And off they go.
And you didn't know you were going to be a marriage counselor, or did you?
Well, a relationship coach. Yeah.
Sure.
Because my personality is relationship based, right? The focus of the two personality is relationships.
And this seems so much deeper than even, I remember when I first read the Love Languages book and, wanted to buy a copy for everyone I knew.
Yes.
Right. And the same with the Four Agreements, it's like, this is just that next level.
This is so much more exactly detailed in a loving and compassionate way. And when you start to do Enneagram work, you must agree to be compassionate with yourself and with others as you are going through this process in order to relearn to love yourself, to open your heart, to be loving, when I look back on my younger self and even in that marriage, just the other day I was thinking, if we'd have known this stuff, we'd probably still be married. I would know how to appreciate him so that he would open up to respond to me. But it felt more like demands, and it probably was as it went on. Demands, I need you to do this a certain way.
And plus, when that momentum builds up of frustration and miscommunication, it's really hard to keep it in that loving light. And I'm sure if people get your direction sooner than later, what a bunch of emotions that would save. And even how you're saying with the couple where the man was over demanding and the woman totally received it in the opposite way that he was trying to give it. I mean, how comedic, but true. Yeah. I mean, there's probably so many men that are like, that's exactly what I was trying to do. And maybe asking for permission could be seen as like unmasculine or vulnerable. But really, if you teach someone to do that in the right light, asking for permission can be incredibly sexy. Right? Right? I mean, in a lot of ways.
There was another couple, actually, they were friends of mine. So this was quite, this was, been married for 25 years and got into a situation that was very unhealthy for them. And I counseled her to leave him. And he is an 8 asserter personality, which is a Donald Trump personality. I don't need help from anyone. I don't need anyone telling me what to do. And he came to me and he said, you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Wow.
And so I spent 10 days, less than a day for 10 days, and we delved into their personality. And they said they'd never had such deep, rich conversation, communications, understanding, teaching her to speak up and stand up to him and making him listen to her and helping her to understand, that's how he learned to be what he thought was a man and all of those things. And they're still married.
Oh, that's magic.
Wow.
That's magic. I think that, 90% of the, of the issue with marriages is like just being able to know that the person can actually like listen and look at themselves as opposed to say, no, I'm right and you're wrong. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like,
well, we dig in, right? We dig in.
Right.
And we see it from our personality perspective. And really, when you open up to the personality of your partner, how much richness they can bring you in how they think differently and how they feel differently, as long as it's done in a healthy way and a conscious way, you can just like it. I don't do long-term coaching with people. I don't need to.
That's amazing.
I
Gold.
give them the foundation, off they go. They may come back a couple of times, but they have the basics and the foundation that they can go back to when they're triggered and they end up, even myself, when I'm triggered and I'm in a ditch over here, I know exactly what it is, what I've been triggered with. And if I can't get myself out of the ditch, I have mentors and I go to them.
Yeah, we
That's
all
good.
need them, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we
all
love
need
our
them.
wingmen, definitely.
This has just been so educational.
So you do sort of one-on-one coaching as well as doing your courses.
Yes, I do.
And your courses
So
are
after this course, my intention is for those that want to very quickly become conscious and grow and manifest and create the life they desire where they can thrive, then I'll do one-on-one coaching. And that's going to include emotional
cool.
healing, spirituality, Enneagram, law of attraction, keeping your vibration high, all of those things.
That's a beautiful direction and intention too. And I have to ask, how about people with physical ailments, with like pain issues? Does any of this help their transformation out of pain?
Pain in the body is where you've put stuff that you haven't dealt with,
Yeah.
right?
Come
It
on.
That's that is the spiritual answer. It is the spiritual answer. And when I also do past life regressions, and it's fascinating that things that have happened in past lives are themes or even ailments that you have in your present life. Or, I've got this ache that I don't know where it's come from, or you have marks on your body, like I had a friend whose daughter, in a very loving, conscious family growing up, you could not come up behind her. She would freak right out. And there's no reason in this lifetime why it makes sense for her to have that reaction, but it's past life stuff.
And once you, again, maybe identify it, accept it, have knowledge of it, then you can actually move it. But
You
if you
can
can't,
heal your own body. You can.
Do you have people ever who can't quite process what you're saying? Like they process it a little bit, but they can't go all the way through.
This is a very advanced concept that you can
Yes.
heal your body, because we have been, what's the word, programmed. I don't like that word, but we've grown up believing that it's either cut or medicate. And a lot of issues that we have come from depression, from sadness, from grief, from feeling unloved, which the body, like if you're going to store that in your body, what's going to happen? It's comes from dis-ease.
yes. Have you ever heard of, is it Louise Hay?
Yes.
Because
That's
she
exactly.
has,
Yes.
and I have
Yes.
that little app that you can look
Yes.
up, like if you get a wart, it means this,
Yeah.
it is
Oh.
You can heal
crazy
your body.
how
No, it's
unreal
amazing.
that is sometimes.
It is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and she has affirmations for it. I take people in a hypnotherapy session to help them go inside their body, figure out where it is, what is the message to them about that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. Isn't
very
it?
exciting.
Because you hear of these chronic things, and then people's logical brain will be like, well, I'm not going to believe. And those of us who know the other sides, the Eastern and the Western, and how beautifully they can communicate with each other.
People have healed themselves from cancer, and the doctors go,
Millions.
I don't know
Yes.
what you did. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
I always get, it kind of like hits me in the heart when I hear people saying a doctor told somebody they had X amount of time to live or there was no hope. Like, I feel like that is terrifying because people just believe it.
Also their responsibility, though. So we're not downing the doctors.
No.
Must
No
be
offense,
hard to
doctors,
do that.
but
And, the other spiritual, we could really go delve into the spiritual part of this too. My belief is we've come into this lifetime with certain things that we want to learn from and grow from, and we have a timeline on that. But part of that is also, we've made an agreement to experience this and grow through it. Now, not everyone's going to go with that concept, but in my world, That's what it's about.
Yes.
Now, can you do the hypnotherapy online, or do you need to be in person to do that?
I think I can, yeah. It's a meditation,
Amazing.
right?
Okay.
Yes, I have done it with a client online.
It's amazing what can be done by distance. I had some breath work that a coach helped me through. And I thought, oh, this won't work over the phone. And it was like an energetic arrow shot right out through my chest. She coached me through it. Oof, yeah. I mean, that was my testimony. There's power to it.
You focused all your energy on it, and you were able to release it from your body. We are energy. We are energetic beings. We put out energy just like radio signals. We attract back exactly at that signal, that vibration. If we're a victim, what do we get more of? Victim experiences. You know, if we get our vibration up there and it's higher, what comes to us is more opportunities and things. I have to be so careful. Like if I dip down, all of a sudden it's like whack. It's like, whoa, I'm not thinking that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So what are your 3 favorite ways personally to raise your vibration?
I am working right now with this program that I'm putting on of being absolutely clear on what it is that I am yearning for, the experiences that I'm wanting, what I want to bring into my life. I sit out on my patio and look out on the trees. When I came back from Mexico this last time, I had difficulty hooking into the energy here in Calgary. And I was sitting out there one Saturday morning and I was just working on, my vibration and whatnot. And all of a sudden I felt a click. And it was like, then I was in the hum. I was in the hum of the vibration where I could manifest again, because I wasn't manifesting. I wasn't focusing on that. And all of a sudden I'm back. So when I wake up in the morning, it's top of mind is what experiences am I looking to bring into my life? What am I grateful for? What am I open to? Have I acknowledged what's been brought to me? So in manifesting, what are the 2 things this last week? Manifesting more money. I read a book and I opened it up and there was a US dollar bill in there. So some people would say, well, that's just $1. To me, it's not. It's a sign.
That's
right?
magic right there.
And I
That's
found
manifesting right there.
this really odd coin that I haven't been able, it needs to be cleaned to figure out, is this a rare coin that got handed to me? So life becomes more fascinating when you open yourself up to this stuff.
Yes.
I have maybe a silly question because this is all, it's so powerful, right? And I mean, our energy is vibrating higher being here with you, I think, Eileen, right? I know my energy vibrates higher when I'm just with these 2 sisters. But do you ever feel like, because even all the good work takes energy, right? Do you ever take a vacation from yourself? Do you ever unplug? And how do you do that?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Right now I'm focused on this because I'm putting out a program, but you also can coast. Because I tend to lead in a positive, higher energy. People, when I'm not even conscious of it, people will say, well, you have such good energy. It's fun being around you. I'm out there playing pickleball every day. When I'm in Mexico, it's dancing, it's partying, it's whoop whoop, it's walking on the beach.
Yeah.
And I don't need to put a lot of effort in because I have focused on my patterns of staying in a higher frequency. So that has become my norm.
And you call that
Beautiful.
Coasting, right? Because you're kind of one with the higher vibration where you live.
Yeah.
I'm going to say receiving downloads.
If there's something I want to manifest, I'm walking on the beach. I'm visualizing, I'm experiencing, I'm being grateful walking on the beach. I'm being grateful that I'm even there able to walk on the beach when I really didn't think it was going to be possible for me financially. What happened was I figured out how to do it. I rent out my house. I do different things. I do more coaching to bring in the money to allow me to have that experience. If I had to try to figure out the how before I put this other things in place, I would never get there.
Do the how, right? But
Too fearful and maybe not believing possible.
Yes.
That's what stops us.
Yeah, so many key phrases, so many hashtags, so many things.
Yes. Love it.
You can be my marketing director, please.
There we go.
Kath, I'm manifesting that.
Okay, good. Because I needed to be better at marketing, right? So perfect. I'm going to sign up with you in the next 30 days, Eileen. So.
Well, the program starts September the 3rd.
Okay,
So hop in there. It's 3 hours, 1 hour a week.
Okay.
Or I've given options. That's Tuesdays. Or another option is Saturday, a 1 hour session and a 2 hour session the next Saturday. And then I'll probably run it again. But depending on how busy I get coaching, right?
Yes.
Because I also need time for fun because April 30th, I am on my way to Mexico again.
Oh yeah, baby. Love it.
Oh, I want to go. I just got my passport.
Nice. Just in team.
Come down and visit. I'll show you around. Yeah.
It's so cool because I love to dance. I will bailar with you.
So Eileen, here at Bombastic Broadcasting, we believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. So is there something we can do to help you? Like, would it help if we released our podcast right before your signups
That would
came?
be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Yeah. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it'll be right in the flow. One fell swoop right over to you. And in the meantime, people can take the Enneagram test on your site.
It's free, yeah.
Okay.
And when you talk to people, it can be so quick, so simple to shift your life, to shift your mindset, to create a whole new life for yourself. So share that with people. And if they're stuck in a relationship, I remember one gal said to me, I was the victim, right? Oh man, I'm in this marriage, blah, 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 blah. And she said, look, decide. If you're going to stay in, be happy. If you're not happy, get out.
Beautiful advice.
Whoa.
Well, but you could still get out and not be, you know what I mean? Not be happy. So you have to choose happy at some point.
Oh, it was challenging. Believe me, it was mid-50s. And I was mid-50s starting over and hadn't dated.
Since before internet.
Way before.
When people used to actually bump into each other and go on dates live.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much richness out there that we can bring into our lives.
Definitely.
Beautiful.
Well, thanks for talking to us today, Eileen. That's it from Bombastic Broadcasting. Remember, be fabulous, be fun, and most of all, be fearless.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up. My man Mo said that the reason that the world fucked up is cause everybody lazy. Positivity is corny to them, but they still gon' complain about the bad going on. Shit crazy. So I just had to drop a little project. I don't know what the object is, but this feels good. If you too hood for the good vibe, sorry I ain't got nothing for you. Why should I?
You shouldn't. We out here doing the things that y'all wouldn't. Life could be a sweet ride, proof is in the pudding. These guys with the weak vibes, I'll show them where to put it. Down bad, I was looking for the answer. Mind all mad, taking over like a cancer. Canceled the sub plans, came from up above. Told me everything we doing, showing love, and I gotta
wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up.
I've been getting so high, head up in the clouds. I don't ever wanna come down, but I gotta
wake up.
Ain't enough time to be down. Bust a smile, cause it's yet another day that I'm allowed to
wake up.
Feeling blessed to be alive, man. Not long till we thriving. Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Most.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up, so much more in this world that you can do. Wake up, every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing.